You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Ayahuscua and New York City neo-shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? It's Saturday night, Truth Frequency Radio. I'm Frank Castle, and this is Fearless. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to the Now. Speaking about now, right next to me in the Now, Paula Milo's with me.
Hello,
Theoretical translator, prayer warrior, light beyond light. You always get weird when I give you like a cool shout out. In the beginning.
I know. I'm shocked.
You're like, what's up, everybody in the chat room? What's up, everybody out there? Shout outs to Chris and Cherie, like I do every week, because without them, we would not be here. And, go to the truthfrequencyradio.com website, sign up. And you get all the past episodes that are in the archives. Remember, it's a listener-supported radio, and you can go and download the app. You can just get everything anytime you want. So, that's awesome. So I suggest flowing with that because that's awesome. Don't forget to check out Heistclick, HEISTCLICK. That's my music group. And you could find us on Amazon and iTunes and Heistclick Music at Reverb Nation and on SoundCloud. If you just want to check it out for free, go to YouTube, just listen to it. If you like it, click a like. Throw it around because this is how we roll. This is definitely how we roll.
Tell them about the Facebook.
You can tell them. Facebook's groups. And Facebook's pages. Now has Fearless TFR. That's how you find it. It's Fearless TFR. Sign up or just go in and click like, follow us so we come up in the news feed because I know they're censoring everything. I see it all the time. I had like a bunch of shares and a bunch of likes and it said seen by 1%. And I was just laughing. I was like, they let you between 1 and 5. So out of your entire friends list. Just know how the sentiment works.
Yeah, but go there because if you want to ask questions, that's the place
we want to host
questions. This is where we can answer your questions the next time on the phone.
Yeah. We want to host discussions there because we get pretty deep, and we want you to join the group. I don't want to just put you in the group and go, yeah, my buddy's in the group now because he's on Facebook. I hate doing that to people. They do it to me all the time. But here's my disclaimer. Everything that I do is what I do. It's part of my journey. It's what I needed to do for my help. It's what I do. It's just what I do now. Mm-hmm. It's not for everyone, but I suggest that if you feel the vibe on understanding it more or going a little deeper, then this is definitely the route to take. It'll only unlock you a lot quicker than sitting on the side of the mountain meditating for 30 years so you could witness like God for a millisecond and have like some basic understanding of the illusion. Or you can see it for yourself, wake up, recharge, defrag the computer, reload up the RAM, get more of a power boost. I try to explain it like this so people understand that we're basically like a battery computer. We're a biocomputer.
Biocomputer, yeah.
We're like an antenna, mm-hmm. and we're taking it all in, and we can send it out. So you have to see it like that in an electric universe because because that's what's up with that.
But again, if that's not your route, then just listen to the conversation and take the pieces that apply to you.
Yeah, not everything is going to apply directly to you. Some of it is just the storytelling aspect, and it has its meanings and definitions behind it. We all translate this together, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, as we lay it out, the story reveals itself more and more each week. I enjoy telling the story like a comic book or like a campfire story where there's just chunks of story and then discussion on a few other things that you should be aware of, or, you know, that fits the synchronicity of what we're actually discussing. Because we're a little bit further, but I think tonight there's a big reveal, because this has basically been all about me up to this point. And tonight there's a big reveal. But, okay, one of the things I've noticed is that as you start leveling up, people around you that consider themselves leveled up for whatever reason, whether they're in a religious category, a category of
Just a heightened level of understanding.
yeah, well, people, you know, there's witchcraft and there's voodoo and there's this and there's that. And as you rise up, you'll see that these people have a piece of the information and understanding, but it's usually a very small piece of the understanding. They think they have it all. Everyone thinks they have it all. You think you're doing the right thing by telling someone they can't, but you're absolutely doing it all wrong by doing that. Okay. I was in the last leg of my being back home trying to fix everything, all the damage I've had done.
This is where we left
We
off
left
last
off.
episode.
Yeah, we ended with the whole mushroom.
Yep.
I finally took the demon, used the light sword, and it turned into the black goo. So once again, the black goo showing up, demonic entities, things that are trying to play in the background right around you that you're not aware of. And I'm not trying to push any of the bad stuff. This show is going to push the good stuff. This is about becoming fearless and saying, okay, I have a basic understanding of what this is. Now I don't have to be afraid of it.
Right.
I can just move on. These things are there. They're everywhere. There's nothing you can do about it. But there's a lot you can do within it. So that's really important. With a lot of the things I was having happen around me, people started telling me, you know, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You know, maybe this is going a little too far.
Yeah, fear of you harming yourself in any way.
Right. So I had a friend come in to visit me, and he wanted to drink with me. He wanted to have the ayahuasca tea. So it was weird. I had this session with him. He came in, and once again, there was this weirdness that occurred. It absolutely worked for me 100%. Okay? I sat in the living room right next to him. I'm going to run through this a little quicker, but he drank, and it looked like it started to work on him, like his face changed a little bit, and then nothing. I think there was a light purge as well. Nothing graphic, nothing like, I'm not dying or anything. But me, it hit me, and what was happening to me, I was ignoring him for some reason. Like, you start to get into your own world. Mm-hmm. And I was like, he's laying down. I could tell he's annoyed. You can feel that vibe. You're like, oh, he's pissed. It didn't work. But what was happening to me was weird. I was watching a friend of mine being pulled into darkness by many hands. They were pulling her in, and she had no awareness this was happening and had the look on her face as, I can't do anything about this. But if you know anything about what happens without an agreement, this cannot occur. If it occurs, they're breaking the rules a little bit, right? That's why you would see it, so you can step in because you have free will. So thus, why my mind went to this event. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I reached out for her, and she couldn't reach out for me. She just couldn't. So but I had her by the arm, and I was pulling, and these things laughed and laughed and laughed. And it was darkness with eyes rolling under the eyes. And I said, all right, I planted myself firmly down. Okay. And I pulled really hard, and I kept her neck height. Right. And I screamed for someone I knew who would help and would understand this. And I don't know why it just came out, but it did. And I yelled for her family member. Well, she immediately showed up. It sounded like the way a train is coming, like, and then it's on top of you. Yeah. And then she just stopped right in front of me. And she said, "What are you screaming at?" And I said, "Wow, that worked. Oh my God, lowercase g. Here we go again. Just look." So she looks down and she goes, "Holy, I can't believe this is happening." She reaches into it was like a pit, pulling on the other arm. And we got her and we pulled her up and out. We pulled her up and out. She sat down. She had no clue of what was even happening. Full unawareness. I said to her cousin, "You're going to have to remember this because you came here, right?" So I kind of work my way out of my trip and I start dealing with the fact that I'm leaving. This was all part of me going back home to where I grew up. This was the journey was already mentally going, and now it's time to physically get up, pack up, and get your stuff and go. So the next day I find myself, my friend leaves very upset, thinking I'm a hack or whatever, doesn't understand. I was told during it that you didn't even attempt to figure out height, body weight, what what you're on, what you're this. He's like, they're like, you're lacking in your shamanism. Like, you need to pick that stuff up a little bit. So I felt really bad. So I'm at the cousin's house and we're all together. And an intervention seems to look like it's about to occur to me. I'm actually drinking a beer. I never drink. I'm shooting archery in the backyard. It was basically a giant, I want to say giant grounds, mansion, giant like barn, farmhouse thing going with another house on the property and then a giant pool. It looked Vegas style. I was like, wow, very impressive. Well, they come out and they kind of surround me lovingly but firmly, and they say, you need to stop what you're doing now because now it's absolutely insane. So I said, okay, I guess it's going to go down the conversation before we eat. Go ahead and let me hear it. So I have 3 people pointing fingers at me saying, listen, we absolutely saw what happened. We were there. She said to me, you kept me up all night after that. She said, I don't drink or take a psychedelic. You did your thing and pulled me in right out of what I was doing and pulled me to you. And I was wide awake watching this occur. And now there's demonic entities involved and whatever. I said, it's not me bringing anything demonic. That was there. The incident brought me to this person, brought me to call you because I don't know what the hell to do. But no, that's my fault, because when you seem to be leveling up and you try to even explain yourself, to say, no, really, look at my perspective.
Yeah, it's very hard for other people to understand.
Yeah, it gets out of whack. Everybody kind of tag teams up on somebody and says, you shouldn't be and shouldn't be. I go, yeah, but I'm not the one complaining, crying, bitching, moaning. Like, I'm actually like leveling up, not causing drama, not talking BS to any.
Fixing yourself.
And I'm trying to shine the light around people. I'm not forcing it either. That was another thing. I have this thing with going, oh man, I got the magic potion, but nobody will drink it.
No one will drink it.
The more you tell people you have it, the less people want to do it. So they put me to a test. This lady was a witch. She claimed to be a witch. She said to me, I pray to the tree. Do you understand what that means? And I said, you pray to Aya. That's understandable. I speak to her directly. I don't need to pray to her. I just speak to her, which is what you can do too. This is the difference between why she's treating me like one of an equal rather than someone who's praying to them for help.
Right, because you're both putting your belief into the same thing. You just had 2 different modalities of getting there, 2 different ways of getting there. But the
entity will treat you in such a way that you can understand. So if you're praying and you're giving it away and it loves you, and it responds, it's a lot different than standing next to her and saying, hugging her and going, I love you. Thank you for everything. There's a big difference. So I was just trying to explain that out of your witchcraftery, you have about a 20% piece of the pie correct. Because they were yelling at me. People were drinking. It got a little out of control. So they said to me, okay, Mr. I can channel and I could do this. I said, I never said I could do any channeling. I says, I can just talk to them. I don't need them to come into my body. I don't need it. Like, what is this hostility? And she said, if you're so good at what you're saying, how many people are on the property right now? How many people do you see? So I had, for the last few minutes, was wondering why the neighbors were in the yard, because they had this giant section where the dogs were running, and right off of there was it wasn't trimmed, the grass. And then behind that, it was trimmed. So I saw people right there looking out like, hey. And I said, why is she wearing a dress in this heat? I said, this girl is wearing almost like a nun, something a nun would wear, but it wasn't a nun. It was like a colonial thing. And there were two black people. There was a man and a woman, and they were like dirty, beat up looking. They even looked like they had chains on them. And I didn't see them at first, like the chains and all. Like I just saw the people's heads, and I said, oh, look, there's a woman. And then they were yelling at me, and I looked back. I said, well, there's three people right there. They're right there. And they look like they're from Abraham Lincoln, colonial times.
Yeah, another time.
And she just instantly was like, wait a second, there was, and then her significant partner said, no, there was four, but now there's only three. And you know what happened here. And I said, I don't know what you guys are talking about. She goes, right on the other side of that piece of the property was the slave quarters back when that was happening. And that was their whole area. And it's got ghosts. There's entities there, and they're there all the time. And I explained exactly what she said. What she didn't think I would guess was, I didn't have to guess. I just looked and I saw them. So they even got like, wow, that was kind of cocky, confident. You know, I says, it was no cockiness. They were standing right behind you. How can I get all of this correct? Like, I'm not, why am I on
trial?
Exactly. What is the problem here? The problem is that, just like Aya told me in the very beginning, you're losing it all. You're going to lose it all.
Yeah. Literally lose it all.
The connections were just snapping away. Snap, 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 snap. But you had to go through I was crying later in the night. Like, why do people do that to me? Why would you do that to me? Like, I love you people. And they would say to me, we love you, and this is the hard love we're trying to show you. You need to snap out of it. You're crazy.
Because they're treating it as a drug. Like you're abusing a drug, and it's a plant medicine, and it's something that you did for you. You weren't pushing your belief or your way of thinking on anyone. You were just explaining what you were going through.
Yeah, and it was, how do you work yourself out of that magic box that people build, right? No matter what you say, you fall victim to being the problem. You know, you are the problem. What you're doing is the problem. Your attitude is the problem.
Right.
Don't do this. Don't go there. Don't sit here. I have a news for you people. This is not blissful, having creators screaming, you can't, you can't, you can't. You know, there's songs like Signs. People get pissed at the signs that you keep putting up everywhere. Yeah. It's called a rebellion of the mind, and we're just going to rebel. You keep going, no, you can't. You don't do this, and you do that. And I know in my heart and true heart that I'm doing everything correct to my ability, and I'm even listening and taking the best parts from everyone else and adding them to me to make me better, and you're still putting it down on me, you are the problem, not me. Control factors. All right, look, we got to keep kids under control. We got to teach them right. It takes a community to raise a child and all that good stuff. You cannot just lock down and go, no, 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 you can't, you can't, you can't. I can make a song right now about that. And just, all right, this brings me to my next thing. I go home. I head back home, basically living with my grandparents and my mother, right? But imagination is key to this whole thing, right? Every time you say no without an answer or a definition behind it, or you can't, or you shouldn't, or you're stifling someone's imagination or creativity. Your creativity. Listen, sometimes people like me, I'll put an idea on the table and it sounds ridiculous at first, and then I work backwards to build it to show you how I got from A to B. You know, telling you, hey, we should do this, and then you're like, okay, that's crazy. How could we do that? And then I have to work backwards and explain it. That's the right way to do it, but you can't seem to do that sometimes. Right. I don't want to say anything, but I saw someone say, well, it's just easy to put them in front of the TV, let the TV teach them and all that. You are stifling creativity across the board. Get your lazy ass up, shut the TV. You're better off putting on some kind of music or talk radio or whatever and background stuff, and then having conversations and doing more. I get the TV thing. I'm addicted to my shows as well. I watch the superhero stuff. You know this.
Yep.
I love it. That's what it's there for, right? But I don't feel the need to strap myself in and have to make that the control system. It's a luxury to have it there. It shouldn't be used as a tool to stifle a child most of the time. I understand you put them in front of the TV for an hour. I get it. I love Ninja Turtles as well. But you can't just leave them there and then not let them out of the box a little bit.
Right.
My poor nephew runs around like sugar bursting without the sugar because he's like, oh my God, I just want to, and I'm like, all right, calm down. One cool thing though, we planted in the backyard, and I said to him, now, remember, use the force now. Tell the plants you love them and that you hope that they enjoy their new space, and give them that healing power that only you can give them. And this boy looked like he was channeling the energy from the sun itself. Yeah. And he made the face, and he's like, oh, I hope you love your new place. And he was making the faces. Now, I have a tendency to see a little more than what's happening around. It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It was cute to see.
And when you don't do stuff like that and show them, like you could talk to the plants and you could feel the energy, you weave it out of them. You weave it out of their creativity, out of their belief system. So when they're older, they're just chunkheads. No, that can't possibly be Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump. You're raising meatheads.
Meatheads.
Right? I'm glad people are waking up, but I've had the unluxury to be around people that are so... I want to say there's some cops I want to use as an example that I know personally that are very like, no, you don't understand. This is the law. And I'm like, dude, it's pot. Get over yourself. You're on steroids. You're jacked out of your face. You got a gun on your waist and you're screaming in my face. If you take that off, we can fight if you want. You know, that's what men do, right? Oh, we could do that. Or you can just not be a dick and not be so... you got the finger jammed in your ass. But when you see this, it's like you're in a video game.
Yeah.
You can't talk to the boss character and say, look, we shouldn't fight. He's coming because he's a meathead. He's like, oh, I'm going to come and get you. This is how these people act. I'm going to come and get you. Oh, if it's not the Bible. If it's not this. It's the law. You know, they're making laws out there just to make laws, to keep people just sitting there making laws so they have some kind of job function, and you can't have sex in some places with your own wife in certain states. You can't have oral sex. You can get arrested. I want to take a bottle of beer and smack over the person in the head that made that. And you say, what is that all about? You know, oh, people can't eat out of a dumpster because they're starving. You know, like you just can't, there's just things you just can't do that look, I'm just trying to help. Look, I'm feeding the homeless in Florida. The old man, he keeps getting arrested over there. Just nope. Where'd these laws come from? Where'd they come from? I was living in Florida. I was walking, and my block didn't have a sidewalk, so I have to walk the dog in the street. The cop pulls over, gets out, goes, "Let me see your ID." I says, "Well, I live right there." He's, "Let me see your ID." I says, "What's the problem?" He goes, "You're not allowed to be walking not on a sidewalk."
But there was no sidewalk.
But you can't walk to the store on the corner without doing this. But I live right here. And I argued that point. I didn't get a ticket. I went back in the house and I said, I hate everyone. But this is the meathead mentality. Albert Einstein said, the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. That's so important. You know what kids love? Put on John Lennon's Imagination. I was little. I used to sing that. And I used to go, it was a good song to sing. Keep them in that loop. Keep yourself in that loop. You know, read a good book, go read a comic book, watch a cool movie, go meditate, take a deep breath, pull back from what you're doing, line up options, take a good look, make sure you're doing the right thing with yourself. This is all self-help. This is really all it comes down to.
Yeah.
The entities and the ETs and all that, that's great. That's grand.
That's a bonus.
Yeah. But, and we got the big reveal tonight. So that's pretty wild. your imagination is the only limits to what you can do inside of an environment in a co-creative reality inside the hologram. Mm-hmm. This is what you're supposed to be. You talk about this a lot. This is supposed to be what? Bliss? Yeah, blissful?
Bliss. We're not supposed to live in fear and anger and frustration and unhappiness, and we're not supposed to live our lives alone. And there's no need for that. There's too many people on the planet to be alone.
Right. And there's too much space to not have enough food.
Yeah.
Or homes for people.
For people, yeah.
Your basic needs should all be met. This is a matter of us all working together. Yeah. Yes, I understand the problems.
Changing the way you're thinking a little
bit. Right. It's a complete change. When you're like, well, how can it change?
Well, just change a little bit.
Everybody changes. This is how I would do it. And my mother taught me this when I took all my money and blew it early in my life, right? She said, put a percentage here, percentage here, percentage here, percentage here. Mm-hmm. It's $10, $5, $5. A year goes by, you're going to have the car, the this, the that. Watch what happens. So I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. Paid for my college books. I got a car. I got myself completely out of debt. Mm-hmm. I had no less than $400 in my pocket at all times, which was really wild for a young kid, right?
Yeah.
I was wheeling and dealing a little bit. In terms of playing sports, I played lacrosse in college, Division III, and I played a little bit of football, and I got out of that quick. And when we come back, we're going to have the big reveal tonight, because this is what gets good. That cat lady came back, and man, it was awesome. We'll talk about it as soon as we come back. Your protection from deception.
Running down the sands of time. Another drink of ayahuasca just to free my mind. I hope to find another day what I've lost before. I'm trying to find my second wind so I can win some more. Don't try to tell me how it is or what can't be done.
Down the Rabbit Hole with Popeye, Tuesday and Thursday on Truth Frequency Radio.
Am I awake or is this a dream? It's a dream. It's a dream. A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
Right, we are back. This is FearLess. It's Saturday night. It's TruthFrequencyRadio.com. Shout out to all the other hosts of all the other shows. Amazing being part of this family.
And all the people in the chat room.
Yeah, love you guys. It's been really amazing being able to. We were just talking to this off air. Like, the story is going to change now. It gets really intense now. If what I said up to this point in the last 10 episodes was not intense, now it kicks into more of the now, like the last year of my life.
And how it all ties up pretty much. Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So within losing it all, there's so much more. Mm-hmm. I want to remind people that old music is outselling new music for the first time in history. We discussed this a few episodes ago, what the music's doing and why that's occurring. You guys can see it toppling over, I'm sure. We're all getting fed up with the junk and the garbage and the repetitive nonsense and not the creative freedom. Once again, the system cannot stop creativity. You're gonna put people in a fear vibration for only so long. You cannot contain the light. It doesn't work like that.
No, because people are waking up every day. So it's a little light going on every day.
Yes, every day, a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Even in my family, the ones that gave me the hardest time, well, the ones that gave me a real hard time aren't bothering with me. Like, and that's the best because there's no sweat, no harm, no foul. I do good things. I treat everyone nice and right. There's nothing you can say about me. There's no fingers that you could point at me.
Point at you.
Anytime you do that, remember what you're doing to yourself is a horrible thing. So, it's time to let go. Remember to be from your heart, more blissful, more happiness. You want happiness. Go get on that path. Open up. Barbara Marciniak, mention her again, Pleiades.
Yeah, the Pleiadians.
Take your oars, put them in your boat.
Oh, that's Abraham.
That's Abraham?
Yeah, put them in your boat.
Abraham Hicks, right?
Go downstream. Follow the water. Don't fight the stream. Just go with it. Don't fight it. If what you're doing seems like you're pushing a boulder uphill, stop pushing it.
Right. And that means you're doing it all wrong. You know, my brother was trying to get a house in one place, and he crushed to try to get this place, and it just wouldn't work. Then another one opened right across from it, and we're talking about a year's worth of stuff. Then he pushed and pushed and pushed. And I mean, man, he was almost in there, and the answer was no. And it was just problem after problem after problem, and it was insane to watch this occur. And then I just said, hey, do you ever think something's trying to keep you out of there? Not just literally trying to keep you out.
To let you know that,
your path is not meant to be here.
Yeah.
So the answer is no at every path. But there are also those no's that you can make a yes. Like, no, you'll never become anything that you want. Oh, you can't be an astronaut. You can't be an English professor. You're a dummy. You're a this. We got to change that attitude, people. Yeah. We're going to shake that up. Remember, the universe rewards bravery. It's harder to be good, right? But you don't have to go out and feed the homeless, so to speak. Feed the birds in your backyard.
Yeah.
Be nice to
be
someone.
Mindful.
Yeah. Hold the door
Mind your
open.
own business.
Start minding your own business. You're on Facebook. You don't like what you see on someone's thing.
Look away.
Do what Frank does. Frank does other stuff he likes to do and doesn't really put any mind to it because it's all bullshit. So don't worry about it. Know how to take care of yourself, your environment. It doesn't have to be a hostile takeover of everything. You got to try your best. We're all living in this giant ritual.
Yeah, small changes.
Small changes, 10% a week. This is what I was saying before. My mother taught me that little bit. So when the change had to come from within me, it was 10% a week. I went to Trader Joe's and I started swapping out 10% of my, I'm going to try this week and this.
Yeah.
Because I got to read every package, and then Trader Joe's comes out and says, listen, our package is marked this. That's all you got to do is look for that. And then you'll be okay. So now it's easier. So now I'm 20% in, and I'm beginning to learn more. Now it's nothing. Now I go in there, and the people look at me when I shop, and they're like, hey, and I have a great time. I absolutely have a great time shopping. Because I know where the food's going, and I know where it's we're doing the best to know where it's been, actually, because you don't ever really truly know. Okay, just really want to go over the 7 chakra symbols and their meanings to get you guys continuously understanding this energy base. Would you like to read them for the 7 chakra symbols of the core body and what they represent? This is very important to have this basic knowledge because this is what we're going to unlock from here on out. We're going for the chakras and all the entities and deities all floating around involved with this.
Yeah, so if you can keep your chakras in tune, if you can keep them aligned, then you'll have more cohesion in your day-to-day activities. So base or root chakra, we're starting at the last bone in the spinal cord or the coccyx. Then we're going to go up to the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra, which is your ovaries or your prostate. Then we're going to go up to the third, which is the solar plexus chakra by your navel area. And then we go to the heart chakra, which is the heart area. 5 is throat chakra, throat and neck area. 6 is brow or third eye chakra, which is where the pineal gland or your third eye would rest. And crown chakra, number 7, is the top of your head.
Okay, so that basically just runs from down low straight up, gives you a basic idea. As the show continues, we'll tell you the colors and the different definitions behind this, how to unlock each one. But I want to just give you a basic overview, 10% each week. And there is a cat screaming in the backyard, which is awesome because the big reveal happens. Catwoman came back. For those of you that have been listening to the show and those of you that have not, one of my experiences had me on my back with my 2 guides standing over me, wondering, what is going on here? And a beautiful female lioness, feline, Catwoman, stepped forward into what was occurring and said, "What the hell is going on here? You were supposed to be watching him. This isn't supposed to be going on. He's squirming around on the floor." And they said something about free will and how we can't make him not do anything. And so this is what's occurring. And all I wanted to know was who was the Catwoman. She had a beautiful body, and I couldn't stop mentioning the fact that the Thundercat standing in the room had the best physique I've seen on a woman ever. And she kind of had this ignoring me, getting in their face, and then left. From then on, anytime I went in under either mushrooms, meditation, or I've asked. Now, that last one before I went home, I saw her run in the background. I asked, "Where is she? You can't keep holding her back from me. I want to know who she is." And I saw her run, and I said, "Oh, she's still here." They're like, "Every time you get with her, the whole thing changes and you guys get in trouble, so it's not time." I said, "Okay, fine, not time." Bah! So I go back home. I move in. I had put the bed on the floor in my brother's old kid's room.
Mattress on the floor. Yep.
Mattress on the floor, air conditioning in the window, little TV, downsized to everything. Everything I own now fits in a room and in some storage unit on Bruckner Boulevard in the Bronx that I could barely afford to pay. Everyone's helping me in every way they could. The injury was great. The pain in my heart was much greater, but I was home and it felt so right. One of the things that was happening was the echo to come back home. I had to be home. You have to come back home. Well, being back home and re-assimilating myself into what was going on was tough, but it seemed to move quickly all of a sudden. I was wrapped up in it between my injury, helping my mother now in the house. I have 2 elderly grandparents. There are cousins and nephews and nieces, and I'm an Italian family. It goes on, and this was the main house. Now is becoming the older house where it's a little hard to get along and do certain things. Insert Frank, even though he's injured, now he's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, you're there to help. You're there to help your family.
So during that time, I hung out with a few friends, and we were putting together a podcast called The Pale Horse X. Didn't really pan out the way we thought it would because of behind-the-scenes nonsense, but I kept hearing of this witch that we had to get on the show and had to talk to because she wasn't a black witch, so to speak, or a dark witch. She was a white witch. And I was intrigued by understanding why my friend was speaking to a white witch and finding what I was telling him to be weird. But yet you're talking to a witch about these same or similar things, perhaps?
Yeah, different modalities. Again, it's how you receive how you receive and give your information.
Right. So, little bit at a time, I kept hearing, "We got to get her out. We got to get her out. We got to get her out." So I was like, yeah, whatever. So finally, Danielle, Dirty D from Heist Click, my singer, she came back in the picture for a little bit. And we're hanging out. She said, "Hey, you want to come see the show?" So we were like, "Yeah, well, show, awesome. We'll just go see you perform, hang out at the bar, go upstate, and have a good time." So I get in the car with my buddy, his girlfriend, and this is where the story gets interesting. We pick up their friend. She gets in the car, and she's cute. She's bubbly. She has that happy, "Hey, what's going on, everybody?" Blah, blah, blah. And I realize that it's Easter the next day. And I say, "Hey, happy Easter. How's it going?" And what did you say?
Because I was the friend who they were picking up in the car. I said, "Hi, how are you? Can I touch your beard?"
Right. Now, we learned later on, not too long ago, what touching the beard actually signified. It was the insemination of the code. Mm-hmm. It unlocked some really wild information. Mm-hmm. So we start out on the evening. The conversation just goes.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
Great time. And this was just a group of friends. This wasn't a blind date. It wasn't a setup. It was just a group of friends getting together.
It was a lot of randomness, although I heard from them they wanted the two of us to be in the same circle at the same time.
They didn't mention that to me.
Yeah. that came out like pretty last minute. So
Yeah.
they were like, oh, come on, now we'll all just go out. It's perfect. Danielle's at the show and everything. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. But something happened. I remember saying immediately, pretty close to immediately, like I can discuss this stuff with you. Well,
Yeah, I think we started with aliens. I think you had made a comment about aliens, and you asked a general question, and I gave you a very general answer, and that's when you said, "I can discuss these things with you," and I said, "Yeah, sure. Let's discuss it."
Then the conversation happens. I guess we'll just go right into it.
Go ahead. It's
So-
your story.
Well, this is the part where you say to me, hey, I know your brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that I don't know you, but we all know the same people.
We all know the same people. Grew up 2 neighborhoods over. I hung out with all the same kids you did growing up. We never met before.
Never even saw your face.
Never.
And I think I said something like I would have recognized you, your exoticness.
A little too exotic from
A little
Mars
too
Park,
exotic
I
from Mars Park. I would have definitely remembered you. And then it happens. She starts ranting about my brother and goes into impersonation of him. And she was spot on. And
I'm a Bronx girl. I live in the Bronx. I lived home for a very long time, and we used to feed all the stray cats in the neighborhood. And I'm not talking about 1 or 2. I'm talking about at times up to 30 cats in the neighborhood. And
most intense.
yeah, most intense. And it's so embarrassing. Frank's brother is a sanitation worker and used to pick up the recycling in my family's house. So I had met Frank's brother a couple of years before I even met Frank, and he introduces himself and he says, "Where do you live?" And I told him, and he said, "It's not that house, that crazy house where they feed all the cats." And I said, "Yeah, it is. Do you have a problem with that?" And he goes, No, I just don't understand this. So there's so many cats. And I said, "Yes, because I'm the crazy cat lady. But look at me. Make sure you get a good look and make sure you tell everyone you work with that I'm not crazy and that I'm cute and that I shower every day to walk around in slippers and a bathrobe, that I feed the cats out of the kindness of my heart, and I'm not a whore. I'm not going to be on an episode of Hoarders." And that was a couple of years before I met you.
So she said it 3 times, though, the cat lady.
Yeah,
right? I'm the cat lady. I'm the crazy cat lady. I'm not the crazy cat lady, right? So I was just staring at her, and I realized as I was looking at her that it was like, all right, when you know what the synchronicities are, it's like the red flag goes up or the white flag, and you recognize it, and you go, okay, there it is. And then you move on to the next thing. When you did that, it was like, pull my attention closer. Did she just say that? Pull it closer again. Did she just say that? Pull it go closer.
Yep.
She said it 3 times, man. That's the rule.
Yeah.
All right. That's the unwritten rule for things that you say 3 times, and it brings it to the forefront.
Yeah, it's like spellcasting.
Yes, it's spellcasting, and it brings the conversation to that topic. It's like, nope, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. It's been spoken. So I immediately grabbed onto this, and I was staring at you, and I realized...
You were staring at me like a piece of meat.
No, you have... All right. You're very big-breasted. You have big boobs.
Yeah.
I'm not being stupid. Listen, it was like looking at the Catwoman again, the way you were dressed. Mm-hmm. From the waist up, it was you. And you were yelling, "I'm the Catwoman, look at me," and doing Rob's impersonate. I found this to be hysterical. So I immediately tell her the story of... did I tell you the story, or did I say it's funny because they keep making fun of me when I go there? They'd say, "Well, Frank Castle, yeah, you're like the Punisher, but of Care Bears."
Yes, that's how it. That's
right.
How it
and
started.
then now it goes back the other way. I said they keep making fun of me, and because her Catwoman rant, I said they keep saying I'm the Care Bear Punisher, and and they called me a fat hamburger once. I was going off.
Yep, and I started laughing because that was the synchronicity for me, because I had been told by a clairaudient woman that I would meet a man and I would know he was the right man for me because he would appear to be a big Care Bear. And Care Bear is not a word that you reach for normally. It's a word that's, it's an 80s reference. People don't talk about Care Bears anymore.
But those that understand what a Care Bear is.
Oh, yeah. So we both started laughing, and then we instantly became friends. After
and it was funny. The night turned weird for the other friends. They were getting weird, and they're like, we'll take everyone home right now. And I was like, hey, look, two of us are I think I could speak for the two of us. In this one.
We're good.
We're good. We'll find our way home, if that's how you guys are going to act. And immediate dissemination of the conversation just started picking apart everything that we've talked about in these last 10 episodes. Immediately started pouring out. Remember, I said DMT, and Danielle's ex-boyfriend, the boyfriend that was there that night, heard me say it out loud and ran up to me and said, "Did you just say DMT? I want to take DMT." And I was like, "Wait, that's weird."
And you have to remember, guys, you've heard me from the beginning, from the first episode. This is not my path. This is Frank's path. I've, never taken a psychedelic until I met Frank. I never, everything that I do, everything that I pull in from the universe, I pull it in naturally. I pull it in through thinking about it, through setting intentions. It's two different ways of getting to the same truth.
Now, I'd like to say that witnessing you, I seen you were doing the magic. And I don't mean magic tricks. I mean the Reiki, or the Reiki, the energy movement.
Well, energy
healing.
movement, it's not Reiki, yeah.
Well, when you say you send love ahead of things, ahead of the path.
Setting the intention.
Setting the intention. I actually see this stuff. I feel it, but I'm empathetic to a lot as well. I'm getting a better grip on it, but you are coming from a complete different angle. I'm seeing it and witnessing it through psychedelics, and then seeing it after the psychedelic's over. They train you to see it.
Yeah, because for you, it seems like the psychedelic has opened your mind, and now you can just close your eyes and go in and out and see whatever.
You don't even got to close your eyes anymore. Yeah. Now, remember we started in the beginning saying to each other, it should just be like
thinking. You think it,
and it's done.
Yeah,
we've been taught wrong. And some of us have been capable of doing it and have found their own way of doing it. In a book I read in the Star Wars series, Luke is on a planet and he comes upon these witches. And the witches were doing like these singing and dancing around the fire. And they were capable of using the Force, but they thought it was witchcraft by singing together as a group. They can make rocks fly and move buildings and all kinds of stuff. They can control the animals. And Luke was like, they're all Jedis. Or they all have the ability to use the Force, and they had no clue what the Force was, who this moron was.
Right.
They never even seen a guy. They were like, what's
different
happening?
modality. So you call it religion, you call it faith, you call it belief.
You'll find the light finds its niche, and then you seem to just do it and not really maybe there's an attachment to God, more of a religious, but not overly religious, because overly religious people seem to be blinded to this. They're always waiting for the miracle to occur. Yeah. This is part of the other thing we were talking about.
Yeah. Miracles don't have to be, a crack in the middle of the road, or
a crowd has to witness
splitting the ocean in half. A miracle is a bottle of water when you're thirsty. A miracle is a bathroom in a public place.
A miracle is when you're on the beach and the fish is out of the water and you pick it up and put it back in the water.
Yeah.
That's a miracle.
That's a miracle.
You guys got to understand what we're doing here. We're all doing it. Yeah. You're all in the ritual. I was telling this to my brother. The architecture from the Freemasons, right? Built into the areas and the way the houses are built is that so you're actually living and walking inside the magic ritual. It is done this way on purpose. Okay? Yeah, you could argue semantics all day inside of layers, but this is what's going on. This is who gridded the United States, right? This is who built up Washington, D.C. This is who built monuments and this and that. Do you even know what these things are? It's all magic-based. They're rune stones. They're anchors to the planet, to energies. There's celestial bodies floating right out of our atmosphere that are right here, phased in a different vibration. You could take a space elevator back and forth. You want to see it? Start meditating about it. People do those meditations, and they kind of draw what they see, and they find locations and stuff. That stuff's real. I've watched them do it. I've seen magic that's real too, like magic tricks. But then you get kind of into the who's helping that person do that. I seen a guy pull a rope through his waist.
Yeah,
he had no shirt on. And I said, his eyes rolled into the back of his head when that happened. And I don't mean his eyes rolled like the Undertaker. Like, it rolled into the back of his head, and the rope passed through his stomach. I was standing right next to him. I watched it go through and come out the other side. And I thought, this dude should be dead. I saw the hole open. And it just reseals. Then you find out that these guys are actually having their little invisible friend. Call it whatever you want. You can make jokes all day. The best example I could use for you is Beyonce has Sasha Grey. They all have these other characters.
Sasha Fierce.
Sasha Fierce.
Alternate ego.
Yeah, an alternate ego. Something you could say the mind splinters and goes into the other personality. Yeah, but if you can see what outside your body, you're an antenna. You're picking up all this stuff. There's things whispering in your ear, right next to your head. There are things watching us right here.
Every second of the day.
Absolutely. So now the big Catwoman reveal has happened. It was actually you. We'll get more into that. The actual Catwoman from ancient Egypt is Sekhmet.
Oh, Sekhmet, yeah.
Sekhmet. We discussed her a little bit last week or the week before. And the importance of the oncoming information. We've met Anubis. I've had Lucifer, multiple other Isis. We're going really Egyptian. It's going Egyptian.
Yeah,
And
those are the undertones. Yeah.
the undertones don't stop, though. They heavily influenced in American Indian and then Egyptian. And then it gets even crazier. We'll be discussing in later episodes the Pleiadian. The Atlantis, people are reincarnating from these places.
Oh, yeah, our supposed life 8,000 years ago together, 6,000 years ago together.
8,000. They always say you go to 8 and then it goes even further.
Yeah.
All right. Part of our history, the reincarnations have led us back to each other. And next episode, we're going to discuss what actually occurred. Your first psychedelic experience. And what we were shown and how our paths connected and what that means for the whole thing, like the whole story, and now how this is going to continue. It's like the man and the woman meet, just like in Ghostbusters. You have the guy that has the key, and then there's the lock.
Oh, the gatekeeper and the key master.
And, yeah, but that's also relevance to even the Matrix. You have to have the two, the man and the woman, become one. And then the machine of the human body, the etherical body, the astral body, your connection to source, your connection to everything
can do its
else.
job, yeah.
It comes through.
That's beautiful.
Well, the connection is what makes it occur. The two become one. You know, there's the three within you, and then there's the two that make one.
Yeah.
And we're going to get deeper into this as we go. And, you know, stay tuned for Chris and Cherie. They're up next. And
remember to go to Facebook if you have questions. Post your questions there. I'll be happy to answer them.
Oh, yeah, we're ready to get that group going. So may the source be with you, and we're your protection from deception.